Hey, in this video, we're going to learn about the JSTL function tags for splitting and joining. So the split function, it basically splits a string into an array of substrings based on a given delimiter. And here's the signature for this method. So you call split, you pass in the data string, you pass in a delimiter, and it'll return you an array of strings that are all based on that splitting of the delimiter. So let's look at a little code example here. So at the beginning, I set up a variable called data, and I give a string value. Here I have 4 cities: Singapore, Tokyo, Mumbai, and London, and they're all CSV separated by a comma. So in the next line, I actually make use of that function split. So here I say c:set var cities array value equals, and then inside of the quotes, I make use of the function split. So I say function split. I give data, that's the string from the previous line, and then I have it split on a comma. So I put the comma in single quotes there. And that'll basically split that string from a single string to multiple strings, and it'll return that value as an array of strings. Okay, stay with me here. And it'll assign it to cities array. So that's how that part works out. It takes one big string and splits it up into an array of strings. Now let's take a look at the join function. This join function goes the other way. It basically concatenates a string array into a single string based on a delimiter. So here's the method signature here. Called join, you pass in an array of strings, comma, a delimiter, and then it returns you this one big string based on that information. All right, so let's take a look at a code example. So previously we had an array of strings called cities array, and I simply want to join that together. So here I make use of function : join cities array, comma, star, and that'll give me this variable. And so you can see the printout here at the bottom. It'll basically take that array, join it together using that asterisk for the join character. And that's how that'll work out. And we'll see a good example of this once we move into Eclipse. All right, so we're in Eclipse now, moving into that tag demo project. I'm going to move down to web content, and I'm going to create a new file here. And the file name that I'll give here is called splitjointest.jsp. And I'll go ahead and hit the finish button. Alrighty, so let me go ahead and move up here and expand my window a bit. And now let's go ahead and drop in our taglib references up top like we had before. I'll go through and just do my HTML housekeeping. So I'll go ahead and set up a variable for data, and I'll give the values Singapore, Tokyo, Mumbai, and London, all great cities that I've traveled to in the past. And now what I want to do is basically split this data. So I'll set up the cities array, and value equals function split data, comma, the delimiter. And the actual delimiter we'll use here is the comma symbol. And I just close off that tag. So basically here I'm just doing a split on that data that we set up in line 8. So that CSV, or that comma separated list here, we're going to split it, and then we'll get a cities array that we can use later. And what I want to do here is clear out some white space, and I actually want to go through and loop around and print out every item in that cities array, just so we can verify that it is, set up in a separate array and its separate elements. So what I'll do here is I'll set up this for each loop. The var equals temp city, and the items is cities array. And I have a small typo at the end of line 14. Let me take off that extra slash. There we go. Now I can do my slash for each. Cool. And I'm going to loop through the cities array from earlier. And I'll simply make use of this temp city here. So I'll say temp city, $ curly brace, and I'll put a BR for a line break. And that pretty much covers it. So that's our cities array up top. And then we do the for each to simply loop through that array and print everything out. So this looks good so far. So let's go ahead and save this file and let's run it. Right click, run as, run on server. Okay, great. So here's our results, split demo. So remember, it was this big long string that we started with, then we split it based on the comma, and then we can print out each element of that array. So a good example of using the JSTL split function. All right, so let's go ahead and get some white space here and some room to work with. And I'll work on the join demo. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to join. So I'm going to take that cities array and then I'm going to join it using a star to join it together. So that one big array of strings, and I'll just kind of concatenate them all together using the star as the delimiter. And then I'll just print out the results of joining that. And that's basically it. There's nothing else we really have to do here for this example. All right, so let's go ahead and save this file. Oh, actually, I have one typo. I just found it. I need an extra paren here. Okay, great. So the paren, balance set off, and okay, good. I'm okay now. So that was a good little catch there. All right, so save this file, do a refresh, and then here's the results of joining. So it took that array of strings, and then it made use of that asterisk symbol to kind of join or concatenate everything together as a single string. So this was pretty good. So we went through and had a good time to play around with some of the functions here in the JSTL for splitting and also the JSTL functions for joining. So good job so far.